What is going on, FA Nation? Justin Fensterman back with you with another Fantasy Baseball Stock Watch report here on FantasyAlarm.com. Let's talk market value in regards to some of our fantasy baseball players, some trending up, others trending down. It's the latest Stock Watch report. Let's hit the market right now and get right down to the action. Let's start out with players trending up. Luis Arraez. He's only hit one home run of the year and hit in 11 runs thus far, but Arraez provides balance to our fantasy teams because he gets on base a lot. He's walked 20 times this season and has only struck out 8 times. In fact, if you look at every player in the league that's walked at least 20 times this season, Arraez has struck out the fewest amount of times among that group. He has the highest on-base percentage in the MLB at .454 and is hitting .349, which is tied for third highest in the majors. Arraez has done a good job keeping his strikeouts down throughout his young career. He's scored 17 runs, 4th most on the Twins. It's also encouraging seeing the Twins rank in the top 10 in batting average and top 5 in team on base percentage because it'll raise Arraez's RBI production ceiling when he comes to bat with runners on. Up next, trending up, Clay Holmes. Aroldis Chapman is struggling mightily in May, and he might even need to take a few games off as his Achilles is clearly bothering him. He's allowed runs in each of his last 5 appearances and has walked 10 batters in 17 games. Holmes, on the other hand, allowed 1 earned run in his first appearance of the season in April and hasn't allowed a run since. He's picked up 7 holds, 4 wins, and 4 saves. He's walked just 2 batters all year and none in over a month. He's even allowed more than 1 hit in just 2 of his 20 games. His ERA sits at .42, and we could see him getting more save opportunities if Chapman sits. But even if he doesn't, Holmes is your hot arm and doesn't really walk anyone. Why can't the Yankees switch up bullpen roles moving forward? They're the best team in baseball, and they'll want to keep it that way, and Holmes has had very few blemishes on his record in over a month and a half of work. Final player trending up, Christian Walker. After a dreadful start to the season, hitting .147 in April, Walker has now lifted his overall batting average for the season to .200, and he's hit .245 in his last 2 weeks of action. He's hit 5 home runs in his last 9 games, and his RBI total for the season is up to 20. He's hit the most home runs in the Diamondbacks with 11. He's the only player on the team that has hit double-digit home runs, and he's also tied with Dalton Varsho for the team lead in runs with 22 and RBIs with 20. After the Diamondbacks are done with their series against the Royals, they have a big test against the staunch Dodgers pitching. Opponents are just hitting .213 against them. Best in the league, along with the Angels, and we'll see if the Diamondbacks cleanup hitter can power through that. Now for a few players trending down. Let's start with JT Realmuto. Draft season is a distant memory, but just to put things into context, at the end of fantasy baseball draft season, Realmuto was being drafted as a top 2 catcher and an early 4th round pick in 15-team leagues. He's a career .273 hitter, and Realmuto is currently hitting .232, and he's tied at 13 at his own position, producing just 10 RBIs. He has struck out 35 times, and only 3 other catchers have struck out more than him. He's actually struck out in 5 straight games and has hit the ball in just 3 of his last 9 outings. The Phillies have moved him down to hit in the final 3 of the order. His hard hit rate and exit velocity are also down. He has just a 35.4 hard hit percentage and has a career hard hit rate nearing 42%. Another player trending down, Max Muncy. Muncy has been one of the biggest disappointments of the season in fantasy baseball. For a guy in such a powerful lineup and hitting in the heart of the order in a good amount of games, Muncy has a .157 batting average. Yes, he's produced hits in 5 of his last 8 games, but he has just 1 RBI to show for it during that span. He has a very low BABIP that shows he may be getting a bit unlucky, but he also has seen a drop in his hard hit rate as it sits at 37%. He's been the weakest hitter in the Dodgers lineup this year, and this was a borderline top 100 fantasy baseball draft pick. We've seen Muncy have multiple 30-plus home run seasons, and hopefully he's able to get it going at the plate soon. He's getting on base and scoring runs, but his power is certainly down. Final faller, Jose Berrios. The 2-time All-Star pitcher hasn't exactly been a stud to start the year. He's allowed 25 earned runs and hasn't been striking out many batters. He's struck out 6 or more hitters in just 2 of 9 starts this year. The schedule hasn't been the easiest for him, but he was one of the most reliable fantasy pitchers last season, striking out over 200 batters and ending up with a 3.52 ERA and a 1.06 WHIP. This year, though, through 9 games, he has a 1.43 whip and an ERA of 4.75. Being in the AL East is also challenging for a pitcher having to deal with the powerful Yankees, Red Sox, and Rays lineups. He allowed just 22 home runs in 32 starts last season and has already allowed 7 through 9 starts. His next start is slated against the Angels, who have scored the most amount of runs in the American League. Not ideal. And that's another Fantasy Baseball Stock Watch, FA Nation. Keep it locked into FantasyAlarm.com, DFSAlarm.com, and PicksWise.com as we help you win. The market is always changing, especially in fantasy baseball by the day, but we have the analysts that'll keep you in profitability, and we will win together as a family should.